Alright, hello and welcome to the latest episode of Acidhedz Discussion Zone. Okay, I'm doing this one kind of early in the morning because it is Friday, February the 15th, 2013, which means today is the day that asteroid is passing so close to the Earth, so I wanted to go ahead and get this up, so just in case somebody watches this today early enough, I'm trying to remind you that you can actually go online and there's going to be NASA has a bunch of resources up for you if you want to watch that. Okay. Um, so, like I said, I just wanted to kind of get that out there so if you have that in your head. Alright, shouldn't be doing this when I'm still half asleep, but I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to remind everybody. Okay. And if you're watching this later, I'm sorry I've wasted almost a full minute on that, because it's only for today, and it's gone. So let me get to the topic. Okay, life on other planets. Really, really big topic here. A lot of people like to talk about this one, which is why I didn't do it first. Too obvious. But I didn't want to save it for too late either, because it is a really interesting and big topic. So, this one is actually life on other planets like us, really. So I'm going to do another one about what you might call non-conventional life forms, stuff that just is nothing like what we have here. So this topic is about life in other planets that would be like what we have on Earth. You know, not necessarily just like humans, but, you know, recognizable life based on carbon and oxygen and water. Okay, so first, the idea of just generally life in other places. You know, we've already got some candidates for that in our own solar system, they've found. Mars potentially still has life underground. They found a lot of life forms here on Earth that live underground. There's one, I've seen it before, but also on the Brian Cox series, Wonders of the Solar System. They're called snottites. They basically they metabolize sulfur and produce sulfuric acid, but they still need oxygen. So, but it's still opens up some good possibilities for the possibility of, or potential for life on Mars underneath the surface somewhere, where it might still be hotter. There could still be liquid water under there. Okay, other candidates include Titan, because it's theorized that there could be a liquid ocean in underneath all the other. Titan has a lot of interesting characteristics, but there could also be a liquid ocean of water. And the same for Enceladus, another moon of Saturn, who both because of their orbits around Saturn potentially have this liquid ocean of water caused by friction heat. And similarly, Europa, moon of Jupiter, friction heat melts the ice, so there, you know, it's speculated there could be more water in Europa than all the oceans of Earth, or all the entire planet of Earth. And of course, Enceladus, they've observed these really amazing ice volcanoes, basically. Very cool. So those are all candidates for the potential of probably bacterial, microbial, you know, single cell organism based life here in the solar system. So those are some things that you can discuss. It'd be interesting. And then that also got me to thinking, and this goes out to the real biology buffs out there and hopefully some experts, the possibility of really bizarre but still similar life. Okay, not based on really weird things like completely different elements or anything, but like, could we ever find a planet that had like blue leaves or an orange sky? the plants there feed off of, you know, blue, or everything but the blue light, because that's why our leaves are green from what I've seen in programs and read about, is that the green light doesn't provide them much energy, so they filter that out and it's reflected, so we see them as green. But could there potentially be a planet circling a star that has a very different kind of light that it produces? So could the leaves there be blue because they're filtering out everything but the blue light? Okay. Which kind of just leads me onto the whole notion of finding life on other planets that would be like us. Is how different would it be? That's kind of the big question, the big discussion point I'd like to get into, is how different would life on other planets be? Because from what I understand, the reason why our plants here filter out the green light by reflecting it is because it doesn't provide them much energy, like I said. So would that be a universal quality to plants? Would it just be that no matter what planet you went to, no matter what kind of light the star produced, it's always going to be the red and the blue spectrum that's going to have the most energy, so all plant life that we ever will find will be green? And similarly, since all life forms are going to face the same difficulties of surviving no matter where we go in the universe, no matter what planet you go to, what you have to do to get by, what you have to do to survive, isn't really going to change all that much. So how different would life be on other planets? Okay. So that's a big discussion point I want to go into, which kind of ends the first one, and this is another one I'm going to be putting two forum boards up, or forum topics up for, because again, life on other planets, huge topic, way too big I think for just one discussion board, or one post thread, that's the word, one thread. So I'm doing one for general life, and then another one for where I'm heading now, which is intelligent life on other planets. So discussion points here: what exactly is required for intelligence? What do you think it is, either speaking as someone who's interested or works in biology, or just your personal opinion? What do you think is the evolutionary drive that creates intelligence? Okay, what's the tipping point between an intelligent creature and an intellect of a creature? Okay, by which I mean, like, for example, octopi, an octopus can recognize itself in a mirror. That means that they're very intelligent. There are birds that can work out problems. So, lots of apes use tools. So these are intelligent creatures, intelligent animals. But at what point do you go from intelligent, as I said, to intellect? Something more like what we have. Which, to be honest, is still not all that far removed from the animals in a lot of ways. I mean, anybody that's ever been screwed over by anyone over pretty much anything, and if you ever really just stop and think about it, it's probably was not worth, there was no real gain to be had by them doing it. It's just that evolutionary drive to try and be the number one in everything. So there's still a lot of animal in us, no matter what a lot of people would like to believe. So yeah, so that's an interesting topic, a discussion point I want to consider is, what drives intelligence to be created or to form, and where would you consider that tipping point to be from where an animal goes from being smart to intelligence, real intellect, intelligence. Okay, and back into the context of life on other planets, what do you think the aliens would look like? Okay, and by that I mean, because like I said, octopi are intelligent, so could we find, or could there be, could there be eight-limbed cities out there on planets somewhere that have eight-legged beings living in them, very different looking life forms? Or do you think there might be actually a connection between what we are, upright walking hands, feet, bipedal ape-like forms, that has something to do with the intelligence? I recently saw a program that suggested that it has more to do with the process of vast amounts of information, which means more, eyes have a lot to do with creating more intelligence. How, not having eyes, but how we see things, because we take in so much information through our eyes and ears and, all of our senses, that we needed the bigger brain to deal with all that information properly. So, which goes back to the last thing. So, again, going back to the point about life in general, do you think that there could be vastly different types of intelligent life, or do you think that there's just something about this form that we have that is pretty much going to be a universal quality of intelligent life? Another interesting thought. Which also brings up alien civilizations. Again, it's that whole notion. Evolution is going to work pretty much the same no matter where you're going to go, because what you have to do to survive is not going to change just because you're on a different planet. So, would civilizations look all that different, or in any way, shape, or form be all that different from us? That's why I want to discuss it. Interesting thoughts. And also, if we could start communicating, if we found an alien species that could communicate with us, how far beyond our technology do you think they'd be? This was an interesting point that was brought up on the Stargazing Live program, because they always have scientists and then one additional comedian that they have on the show just to kind of pop in with comic relief stuff, or just be the layman of the group that really has no clue, or not much of one. And they were talking about alien life, and the comedian that was on, or actor, or whatever, I can't remember who it was, raised the point, why do we always assume that they would be more advanced than us? And then it was explained to him and to everybody else, because I hadn't thought of this before myself, was that in order for them to communicate with us, they would have to at least be at the same level of technology than we are. And the chances are that since, the likelihood of everything, them developing at the exact same rate that we are, or for the same period of time that we have been developing or advancing, is very slim. The chances of them being more advanced is just likely. So they either have to be around our level of technology or have better technology. But how far ahead of us do you think they might be, is the question, which may not have any realistic answer. It's just a thought to discuss. So I hope I've given you some interesting thoughts to think on. use the comments for this video. You can reply with a video, or you can come to my forum. There will be a link under the video in the About More Info section, whatever they're calling it this week. And in case that isn't there for some reason, it's at acidbathproductions.biz. It's just my website. It's a forum, and the discussions will be in the science board, which is down the page. You should be able to find it. So, thanks for watching. Get in on the discussion. I look forward to hearing from you. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.